will not continue to be this bad.
What happened? We analyze the weekend, but no rest as the Padres head back to Petco for a series with the Giants. Plus,
The only question the 49ers actually have right now is, will they be healthy?
I think there's a few more questions than that. But yes,
Really?
Can Brock Purdy play with a less of a supporting cast?
He doesn't have a less of a supporting cast.
Debo ain't there anymore. I mean, there's like, I know
Debo wasn't good last year.
The Niners are a fine team. They are not the number one threat to the Eagles. That's asinine.
ChatGPT says they're winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, so AI's taking over? Is that what we're doing now?
My logic is undeniable.
now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, we enter the Fletch Zone.
Hey, it's San Diego Sports 760. It is the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And hey, let's just get this out of the way. That sucked. Oh my gosh. Was that a brutal weekend for the San Diego Padres? And everything you heard of that open was true. This was a golden opportunity for the San Diego Padres to build some cushion in the National League West. Instead, what do? They stop hitting. Actually, they did get more hits than the Dodgers over the weekend, believe it or not. They stopped scoring, and Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr. all go ice cold. The pitching sucks. Padres get their ass kicked this weekend by the Los Angeles Dodgers. A clean sweep of the San Diego Padres, who now have to wait just about 5 days before they play the Dodgers again. Everyone looking forward to that, I'm sure. Thank you for being here on a Monday, and happy Monday to everybody out there. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. And let's just dig right into it, Sammy. Before the big three, we had David Vassay on our show on Friday, welcoming an enemy into friendly territory, saying, David, why don't you jump on with us, preview the Dodgers-Padres series? And what did David say when I asked him who was going to win the series, what his prediction was? Sammy, if you will.
He refused to give an answer and had said that there will not be a sweep in this series. So David Vassay was wrong.
He was predicting a Padres 2-1 victory, if you read between the lines a little bit. And he said neither team was going to be able to sweep this series, which you and I both agreed with. You and I also both thought the Padres would take it 2-1 because the pitching was in question on Friday. But Saturday, Sunday, you felt like the Padres had a pretty good shot. None of that came to fruition. Now, we can talk all day long about the stats and the numbers and the Manny and the Xander and the Nando. But really what I would like to look at is the other side of the ball, because Mookie Betts has been having one of his worst seasons as a professional. Well, who steps up and saves the day on the Dodgers when they enter into one of the biggest series of their year? It's Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Can we get that one time with the San Diego Padres? When you're looking to Manny Machado to step up and be the savior, can you get it one time? Because he had about 4 different opportunities this weekend to step up and be a hero. And what was Manny's final number on the trip? Was it one out of 12?
1 of 12.
1 of 12?
And
Are you kidding me?
Refused to speak to the media after the game, which I thought was pretty pathetic for Manny Machado, for being honest.
It's embarrassing and sad, kind of like the whole weekend for the Padres.
This weekend, we're going to get into this so much more today. We got the big three coming up in a few minutes, but I mean, there is so much to unpack here. It was a pathetic weekend for the Padres. It was embarrassing. And I was listening to John Jim on the wrap-up show last night, which I do a lot. I know a lot of you do too. And I saw a lot of fans who were split. I saw a lot of fans who were like, this is unbelievable.
Did anyone say at least the Padres got more hits than the Dodgers?
That's where some people were going. And some people were going, hey, they're only 2 games back. They play them this weekend. No, that is unacceptable. There's a lot of places you can go in this town that'll tell you what you want to hear about this team. That was an embarrassing performance. The Dodgers were completely reeling. They lost their most consistent hitter since he came back from injury, in Max Muncy. The bullpen was pathetic for the Dodgers leading into this series. They didn't have Brock Stewart. They didn't have Tanner Scott. They didn't have Kirby Yates. They didn't have Michael Kopech. Then they also got the news on Friday that Brusdar Graterol would be out for the season. They also didn't have Hyun-Sung Kim or Kike Hernandez. And the Padres could not take advantage of any moments. They had bases loaded on Friday. The top 3 hitters are the most to blame for this series. I mean, outside the starting pitching and the top 3 hitters, no one performed. There's no excuse being made today. And I don't care if the Dodgers lose the next 3 games to the Rockies and the Padres go sweep the Giants. I don't want to hear anything about the NL West until the Padres go and beat the Dodgers in a set. I mean, it's at some point, it's the big brother, little brother thing.
I hate that argument. I can tell you why I hate the big brother, little brother argument if you want, because that's what you hear a lot of, right? The Dodgers are the big brother to the Padres. That's not what I saw this weekend. Look, I am a little brother. My big brother Alex is one of my best friends. Love and respect him a lot. That's not what this is. That was a varsity team kicking the crap out of a freshman team.
100%. No, that's fair. It's 100%. The the Padres looked so disinterested in playing. In Fletch, I got to give you and I credit on something for Thursday.
Go ahead, pat us on the back.
We both said this. When the Padres took advantage of the division after the Angels swept the Dodgers and completely outplayed them, by the way, that was not a fluke series. The Angels thoroughly outplayed the Dodgers and beat them handily. We said, this is great. It's awesome that they're one game up on the division. It's awesome that everyone's excited, but you actually have to go beat the team themselves. And Will Smith said on Friday they were looking for the sweep, and a lot of people were going on, that's going to be bulletin board material. Well, the Dodgers seem to take the series seriously. They seem to take it like we're going to show what's up and that we're still the big dogs in this division. And the Padres just felt like they rolled up there and thought that they were on talent, going to beat these guys, and they got their ass handed to them. And listen, we're going to see it again this weekend, but bad weekend from the Padres.
Bad weekend from the Padres. You can fix it. There's still plenty of time to go in the season. You can fix it, but Padres fans probably not feeling too great today. You got Jackson Merrill dropping balls in the outfield, guys getting thrown out on base. Like, it looked like a freshman baseball team against a buttoned-up varsity team. Rough to watch this weekend. We'll see what happens this upcoming weekend. Maybe things can change around. But hey, we got college football getting going this weekend. We got a top 25 matchup, 9 a.m. this Saturday morning. Sammy and I are heading out to Vegas on Wednesday. I'm sure we're going to have some action going on that Saturday morning game because I'm going back to Vegas next week. So I'll be back if we want to place any future action for the week to come.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
How about that? We got plenty to get to today on a Monday. We're not just going to be screaming and mad about the Padres, even though I bet you that's about 50% of the show today. But it's time for the Big Three, where Sammy walks us through every big story in the world of sports. Sammy Long, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you would like to watch the show, a couple ways for you to do it. On X, at Fletch and Sammy. You can find us there. On YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760. You can find us there. Would love a subscription. YouTube stays live from 12 to 6 every day. John and Jim take it over right after we get off. Sammy, where are we starting?
So much to get in today. Obviously, we're going to be getting back to Padres Dodgers for a lot of the show today. But guess what? Joe Flacco named the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Has not played in the preseason yet. Shador obviously sat out this weekend. Dylan Gabriel had a solid performance over the weekend. Not great, but solid. What do you think of Joe Flacco being named the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns?
A lot of people read into this like, oh, this is the Browns doing the Browns thing. Shador looked great, and you go the opposite direction. Well, first of all, Shador is injured right now. We don't actually know his status moving forward. But Joe Flacco being the starter was the one that always made sense, unless Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders separated themselves from what Joe Flacco is, so much to the point where they became undeniable. I don't think they ever got there. Shador did look really nice in his preseason game that he played in, and he threw some really nice passes where he was splitting the zone. He had a nice little in-between pass. But if you're not going to completely separate yourself from where you are undeniable, rookies should start on the bench behind a seasoned veteran like Joe Flacco. That's my philosophy about football. I actually think this is a smart move for the Cleveland Browns, and that's the first time you've ever heard those words come out of my mouth. Smart move for the Cleveland Browns.
I hear what you're saying. I get it. That's the safe thing. But in the fact that I would hear it more if they had one rookie quarterback. If they had one rookie quarterback, let's say they drafted Shador or they drafted Dylan Gabriel, and you said, you know what, week one, we're going to give it to Joe Flacco. We're going to go to the guy that has, we know what he is. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's not the future of a franchise. He's 39, 40 years old. I don't like it, though, in this sense. Maybe you don't want to give it to Shador right away, but you have Shador Sanders, rookie. You have Dylan Gabriel, rookie. So here's what's going to happen. If Joe Flacco, let's say he plays 6 weeks. So then you're going to have a shorter time to evaluate these quarterbacks because, let's face it, the Browns are probably picking at the top of the draft next year. They're in an extremely tough division. They're certainly fourth there, and there's no reason to expect that they won't be towards the top of the draft in a draft that's expected to have a lot of big names. Arch Manning, Lenoris Sellers, Nussmeier from LSU, Carson Beck from Miami. There's a lot of guys coming out, and I feel like we could be sitting here at the end of the season for the Cleveland Browns going, well, we don't even know what we have in Dylan Gabriel. What do we have in Shador Sanders? Because we started Joe Flacco for a majority of the games. I get where you're coming from. It's the safe option. But if I'm the Browns, I'm rolling the dice considering there's not much expectation going into this year.
A lot of people think that too. Now, Jamar pointing out on YouTube, and I saw this over the weekend. Did you see Dylan Gabriel's quotes that a lot of people were saying was about Shador? So Dylan Gabriel said this at the podium before their game. He said, yeah, it's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and their competitors, and I totally understand that, but my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Now, that was either the day before or right before the game when
it was right before the game.
He was asked about the quarterback competition. After the game, he followed it up and was asked about it because this blew up on social media. People saying he was taking a shot at Shedeur, calling him an entertainer, not necessarily a competitor. After the game, Dillon Gabriel said, yeah, first off, I'm all about our team and each other. I would never make that comment about Shedeur. And I've said it before. That's why it's interesting. But for me, I've explained it. Entertainers are you all. Competitor, that's what I am. Do we believe him, or was he taking a shot at Shedeur Sanders?
It's interesting.
I feel like it was a direct shot.
I think it was a shot too, because I don't know if he directly meant it Shedeur, because I don't know if he's that dumb, but it was a weird quote. Like hearing the quote by itself, it didn't really make sense. Like,
are we watching Gladiator 2 again?
Yeah, seriously. But and then after the game, he's clarifying it, and then he's like, no, I'm talking about how the media are entertainers and we're competitor. It was very odd. Didn't make sense. Maybe you're right that it kind of felt like he slipped about Shedeur and then he's trying to walk it back. But I mean, Dillon Gabriel's been fine the preseason. He hasn't like lit the world on fire. Shedeur, I think, has certainly looked better than Dillon Gabriel.
I'm a competitor, dude. That guy just wears watches and puts his fist in the air.
I'm a competitor, bro.
What's next?
So get this. So, by the way, Iowa State and Kansas State will be, you can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760.
Ooh.
Week 0 in Dublin, Ireland, starting at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
I didn't know we had a wire that could run from San Diego all the way to Ireland.
Hey,
dude, that's
this
crazy.
is iHeartMedia. We can do whatever we want. Ranked matchup in week 0. 22 Kansas State. Iowa State 17, which is awesome because usually we have to watch a bunch of BS games week 1 that don't matter. But get this, per ESPN, the Big Ten is eyeing a 24 to 28 team playoff. Came out over the weekend. Reaction
for all of college football?
For all of college football.
I don't like it. That seems like way too many teams to me. How long would that take? You're looking at a 6-7 week playoff?
They would be getting rid of conference title games.
So, 6-7 week playoff, somewhere in there, depending on that week off.
It basically run, theoretically, the entire month of December into January.
Dude, I don't know. I think you're going to run into look, the NFL has us all by the short and curlies. You know, the NFL, no matter what they do, we're all going to be watching. College football's not there yet. You got to give people a shorter window. I think 12 teams is fine. They're talking about doubling that. Last year, there was a tune-out factor. You're talking about doubling it? It seems crazy to me, but you know what? Money printers, do whatever you want. I'm sure it'll work out. It's football.
I'm with you. I'm against this simply because
also the product is going to go way down.
It's going to go way down because you're also going to have part of what makes college football great. It was too narrow. It was like you only had to make the top 4, and then it felt like, well, okay, you have a loss early to a back.
Answer me this, Sammy. How many teams realistically right now have a shot to win a national championship this year? Is the number 10? Is it 16?
Depends on shot. If you mean to win a title, there's like a stat that the last 7 champions, everyone in the college football playoff has never been ranked lower than 7 or 6 in the first preseason ranking. Now, there's a lot of teams that can make the college football playoff outside the top 12. There's teams outside of the top 25, I think, that have a legit chance to make the college football playoff. But this does feel like oversaturation. I think I like that more teams are in because it felt like when it was top 4, it was just there was only a certain group and really a lot of teams didn't have a shot. It's fun now that a lot of teams do have a shot, but I feel like if there's 24, 28 teams, I mean, then 3 teams outside the top 25 are getting in. The cure for this is what they're doing this year. Have good matchups week 1. Have Texas opening with Ohio State. Have Iowa State and Kansas State playing in Dublin for week 0, where it used to be. I mean, sometimes the college football season wouldn't get good till week 3 because you're like they're playing directional schools and they're winning by 50 and the spreads are through the roof. This is just fix it with that. I would hold with the 12. If you want to go 14 to 16, I'm fine with that. 24 to 28 feels way too much. And then every conference has theoretically it'd have 6 automatic bids. I mean, that's crazy. That's like over half the conference is going to get in. I think it creates not as much competition. I'm not with that.
Yeah, if I'm college football, I'm doing whatever I can to make the regular season even more entertaining than it already is, which they're doing a good job of this year. Big matchups right away. The first college football game of the season is a top 25 matchup. It's being played overseas. The Ireland thing works. That game over there last year was incredible.
It looks good in the soccer stadium.
Yeah, so keep doing this. Build up your regular season, then start worrying about the playoffs. It doesn't all just have to matter there. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. Coming up next, back to Padres Dodgers we go. Back to that embarrassing weekend from the San Diego Padres. And the biggest question on this team, the question we've been asking since day 1, is still the biggest question on this team. We'll tell you what it is coming up next. San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
San Diego Sports Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Traffic break wrapping up in the South Bay, South 5 before the 905, pulling a tire out of lanes. North 805, carpool lane closed past Governor to La Jolla Village Drive until 2. I'm Mark Zegan, San Diego traffic.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60%.
Are you in the home buying market? Are you in the home selling market? Are you in the refinance market? Or do you just have questions about how you can start to dip your toe into the market? I got one guy for you to call. One guy handles all of that. His name is Gary Cooper. He works with Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. You can give him a call today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. You hear people described as straight shooters a lot of the time, someone who's going to just no BS you, give you the facts straight. There's never been a more perfect definition for a man than Gary Cooper. Then he's a straight shooter. You're going to walk into his office. He's going to annoy you or get rid of all the fluff and just get straight to the facts. Call him today, 858-376-1299. Set that meeting because Gary will provide you with a degree in loanology, one that he created himself, where you're going to go into the home buying process or the selling or the refi process armed with all the ammo you need. My wife and I bounced around to 5 or 6 different companies before we found Gary Cooper that all gave us 5 or 6 different answers. Gary Cooper has the answers for you. So give him a call today, 858-376-1299. No matter what step you are in the home buying process, Gary Cooper will have the info to make sure you are armed and ready to go. Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. Or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com and let him know that Fletch sent you. The iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances from Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, and more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets now at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. And while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending cash. Next chance to win happens at 1 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760. All the info at sportssd.com/festival. All right, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. We got a comment on YouTube from our buddy Paris saying disappointed in the Padres' effort this past weekend. Paris, that is a very nice way of saying the Padres got their asses kicked. And that's what happened, man. And you can be disappointed in the team if you want. I certainly am. In fact, Sammy, after the 14-3 start that the Padres went on, where Fernando was playing really, really good ball, we all kind of crowned him the early front runner for the National League MVP. And I think we were right in doing so at that point. Fernando's been a shell of himself. And the Padres, offensively, the biggest question mark for them, even before the trade deadline, was, well, what happens if Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and Xander Bogaerts are all cold? What happens if those guys aren't working? Well, the answer has stayed the same because Ramon Laureano is still red hot, hit a home run this weekend. Looks really good. If those 3 guys aren't hitting and you can kind of flip-flop Jackson Merrill and Xander Bogaerts, I don't care what the big 3 is, but the big 3 were people who were here before the trade deadline. That's a fact. If those 3 aren't hitting, the Padres don't stand a chance. It may not have been a playoff atmosphere in terms of the crowd this weekend, but that was essentially a playoff series just without as much being on the line. And for the Padres, who knew they had this opportunity to really take a stranglehold on the National League West, your 3 big stars don't show up. Even if you had great starting pitching, this was not going to be a series for you. And the pitching is another disaster we can get into. But those 3 guys, so much lies on them. And if you're going to go out there and just show up and do nothing, Padres don't have a shot.
100%. And we hear about how the bullpen's fantastic, and the bullpen is fantastic. But the thing that comes with that is the starting pitching was awful. There were errors in the outfield, and the top guys aren't hitting. So for the bullpen to be effective, you can't burn these guys every night. You saw what happened on yesterday. Is you're wearing on these guys to just keep you in the game. I know the offense was creeping back there at the end. And then you don't account for the fact that one of your guys wasn't great. Suarez got touched up on the Mookie home run. Jeremiah Estrada has really not pitched well against the Dodgers this year. On Friday, gave up the home run, I believe, to Teoscar Hernandez. And then on Sunday, gave up the walk, gave up the bloop hit, and then they had to bring Morejon in to really shut it down and get out of the inning. I mean, it's just there are so many problems with this team right now. And if it just feels like John said this on the wrap-up show last night, and we have a text that I want to read here in a second from Brian, which I think is really, really good. In terms of, I see some people going, oh, it's just a series against the Dodgers. No, because if the Padres had swept, we all would be coming on here. Everyone in San Diego would be going, look at what they're doing. They're showing they're the big dogs. They're not scared of them. There is a real mental hurdle. I'm not just going to bring this back to my Chiefs, but this really compares with the Chiefs and the Bills. The Bills look like unreal a lot of the time. They look like they can't be beat, and they really look like the offense, they're better. Looking at that game last year, they looked like they were the better team than the Chiefs, and hell, maybe they were on paper. But then there's something in the fact to the sense of that when they had to go into Kansas City, they had to go beat them, and they had to go actually take it from them. And even though the Chiefs maybe weren't the best team on paper, certainly was the best team in the Patrick Mahomes era, there's something to that, the fact that it's different when you're playing them. It feels like the Padres have all this swagger. They're playing the Giants. They're playing all these teams, and then they go up to Dodger Stadium with a team that's absolutely reeling. The bullpen has been awful. They don't have a closer. Vesia, like last night, Don and Mud yesterday had said, this game's not over after Mookie hit the home run. I thought so, maybe too, because Vesia had already pitched, I believe, 7 pitches. He had struggled on Friday night. The Padres had got to him a little bit. And you have the top of the order coming up, and Tatis flies out, Arias flies out, and Machado strikes out. After Machado earlier in the game was mad about a call that he probably should have gotten, but then strikes out there. The Padres really win in the press. They have a lot of great quotes. And then it feels like when it gets to nut cutting time, when you actually have to go make it pay in the standings. The Dodgers make it pay in the standings, and I feel like the Padres make it pay on the mic.
That was the most Sammy Long take I've ever heard, and I love you for it. But comparing that over to the Chiefs is kind of crazy. Also, nut cutting. I'm going to need a description on that one maybe a little bit later on. That text that you were talking about from the 619, I like this a lot, from Brian. He says, to all the Padres fans who were sending hot takes on social media Friday that we were one up on the Dodgers and acting like that meant something, I hope you have learned a lesson. Please know your place and that we have not won anything ever. And unfortunately, we have to sit back and be quiet and hope that one day we can win a World Series. But we look like a bunch of clowns, acting as if we had already won something, being in first place in August. Love the show, boys, from Brian.
He's 100% right.
You're spot on, dude. And I think Sammy and I actually kind of warned against that on Friday. There was photoshopped images of the Western Metal Supply building already saying Western Division champs. Not cool. Leave those out because guess what? It is August. The end of the season is still a ways away. Even if the Padres had swept the Dodgers over the weekend, there was still time for the Dodgers to come back. I don't think that the division is completely lost for the Padres, but if they play like that anymore, it is. It was a totally uninspired, disastrous, embarrassing weekend for the San Diego Padres, and that's not how I wanted to start my week, Sammy.
No, and I know we're running up against the break here, but we kept talking about for them to have a tiebreaker over the Dodgers, they had to go 5-1 in these 6 games.
Well, that's gone.
That's completely gone. So it's a 2-game lead. It's really a 3-game lead. And no, are we saying the season's over? This team, it certainly looks like a playoff team. They could certainly get in, do damage, and make the World Series. But
the Dodgers aren't even the best team in the West.
Right. But our job is to assess what happened over the weekend. And the Padres had every opportunity. There's something to the sense of when you're playing with expectation. And I feel like the Padres don't match that. When they have expectation, like in 2022, no expectation. Dodgers are the best team in the world. How could they lose to the lowly Padres? Padres go take it to them. Last year, they take it to them 2-1 in the series. Then there comes expectation. They absolutely collapse in games 4 and 5. They have not beat the Dodgers in a series since last May. There was a 2-game sweep in July of last year. But it feels like when Friday afternoon and everyone at MLB Network's going, this Padre team's scary and everyone's got to look out for them, then we see this clunker over the weekend. This is why it's hard to get really, really excited about a potential World Series team.
All right, we're going to get off this for a minute here. Talk some NFL because there's some storylines booming all over the league. That's coming up next. We will get back to the Padres coming up in just a little bit. It is San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Discover. Padres had a brutal weekend up in LA against the Dodgers, getting swept 0-3. They'll be back tonight against the Giants. The Dodgers will be back in town this weekend at Petco Park. And the Browns have named their starting quarterback. Joe Flacco will be getting the nod over Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and Shedeur Sanders going forward. And Matthew Stafford for the Rams is back at practice today after having dealt with a back injury for the entirety of training camp. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/credit card.
San Diego Sports 760 on a Monday after the Padres got embarrassed up in LA by the Dodgers. We will get back to that coming up in just a bit. Long shots coming up in 15 minutes where Sammy's going to make us all some money. I did want to take a second, if I may. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you, by the way. I did not know this existed. I was not familiar with the game, but I had dinner last night at a place I'd never been to before, Sammy. And when I tell you, this place was just all American goodness wrapped up into one. I told my wife when we left, I was like, I don't know who's going to die first between you or me. But when I do die, I want my funeral to be held at this place.
Well, what's the place?
Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, I like old Texas Roadhouse.
I'd never been to a Texas Roadhouse before.
Oh, that's
yesterday.
good. It's good stuff.
And I'm pretty sure that restaurant was built for me. The dinner rolls.
Which one do you go to? The one by Spiritos up in not Carlsbad, but
went to El Cajon, right next to the Home Goods. The parking lot was jammed. We went up. They said it's going to be a 45-minute wait. I said, for a Texas Roadhouse? And then I was like, well, there's 2 spots open at the bar right there. Can we sit there? They said, absolutely. Come on in. Sitting down at that bar. First of all, the Coors Light I got was about this big.
Yeah, Texas Roadhouse is legit.
And then the dinner rolls were amazing. My wife ordered a couple appetizers. I had a burger. Next time I'm going to do something else. It might be tonight. Hell,
ribs. Gotta go ribs.
I might get the ribs. I don't know. Everything that I consumed yesterday, I was so happy with. The bartenders were amazing. The waitress is awesome. Everything about that place. I loved it.
You know my favorite part about Texas Roadhouse?
The dinner rolls.
It's been a while, but
the cinnamon butter.
Really enjoy when I've gone there is the peanuts on the ground. It's like you're at a ballpark.
So they don't do that anymore, which I was a little disappointed about. Yeah, because I had heard that. But now if you ask for peanuts, it just comes in a bag and then there's a bucket that you throw the shells in.
How many, if you're a waitress or a waiter at Texas Roadhouse and you're listening right now, how many people do you think they got to yell at who just throw it on the floor? Because
I'm sure people still do. But yeah, no, not anymore. But it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was touching. Something going on in my life. I don't know about your life, Sammy, but that really was just a 5-star experience.
I'm all for Texas Roadhouse, but what was beautiful and touching about it?
Everything about it. I'm telling you, I left feeling so happy inside. I'm so full, and I just kept eating those dinner rolls. And then I asked for dinner rolls to go home with, and they said absolutely, and gave me a bag of dinner rolls. I loved it. That cinnamon butter is unlike anything I've ever had in my life.
That sounds good.
Oh, it was so good. Paris says, love Texas Roadhouse in El Cajon. Got rid of the peanuts after COVID. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, dude, we got to bring that back. Maybe if we get
today.
A sponsorship, that can be our movement. That Texas Roadhouse brings back the peanuts.
Right after the show, Sam, we could jump in the car and go to Texas Roadhouse. On me. Is there a Texas Roadhouse in Vegas? Can we go there for dinner?
Okay, with all due respect to Texas Roadhouse, I think we're gonna Vegas. We get to do Texas Roadhouse here.
It's my favorite food I think I've ever had. And I will stand on that. That was one of my favorite times at a restaurant. I've had it a long time. Rich on YouTube say Texas Roadhouse is the bomb. We got one up in Oside. Yeah,
yes, that's Rich. That's why I buy Spiritos. That's my spot over there.
Wherever it is, I don't care. This one was by Home Goods. We had to stop into Home Goods to pick up some stuff.
858 agrees with me. Sammy's 100% correct. It's psychological talking about the Padres and Dodgers. A good comparison is when Mike Tyson was in his prime. His opponents were beat before the first round. 100%.
Why are you trying to bring me back to negativity? And
I'm just reading our text. It's 100% right. That's a great comparison. The way Mike Tyson, before they walked in the ring, they were beat at the press conference. They were done.
Padres should probably go to Texas Roadhouse to get some food before they step out in the field this upcoming weekend.
No,
I
think they should be hitting those green juices a little bit because they looked like they lacked a lot of energy this weekend.
Maybe. All right, let's talk some NFL because the season is 2 weeks away. Can you guys believe that? 2 weeks from now.
Oh my God.
Our Monday show 2 weeks from today, we'll be looking forward to the first Thursday night football game of the season.
Do you know 2 weeks from today, just Cowboys Eagles?
We're going to be breaking it down.
Oh, hell yeah, we're going to be breaking it down.
The offense, the defense, the injuries, the quarterbacks.
Will Micah Parsons be there?
Head coaches. Is Schottenheimer worth a lick? Probably not. This is going to be fun, man. We are 2 weeks away from the NFL. Storylines are booming. One of the biggest ones, the biggest question mark through training camp so far has been what the hell are the Rams going to do at quarterback if Matthew Stafford isn't available? Well, the situation is still, quote, fluid. I don't know if that means so what's going on in his back with the aggravated disc. But Matthew Stafford was at practice today. So is Matthew Stafford back? Is he all good? Where does this put the Rams now? I think it upgrades them a lot. I think they have to be the favorites to win the division. The Rams are a good team if Matthew Stafford's the quarterback. They are very, very questionable if he's not the quarterback. Sammy, reaction?
Certainly the Rams on paper are one of the most rising teams. They have the makeup of a team that could be a dark horse Super Bowl team in the sense that you have a veteran-laden offense with an elite quarterback who has won a Super Bowl, is a great passer. You have a really good running back, Kyron Williams. You got Puka Nacua there, got Devontae Adams back there replacing the Cooper Kupp production. The offense is going to be fine, but the defense is, I think, really why people up in LA are really excited about the Rams in terms of, I mean, it was one of the youngest defenses last year, and you saw them really come on at the end of the season there. And this year, the NFC is weird to me because it's the AFC feels more like, the usual suspects, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals. I think that the Chargers and Broncos are going to be solid. There's a lot of teams that you can go kind of the same teams. The NFC, the Eagles deserve to be the favorite. They do. They won the Super Bowl last year. I do think the defense got a lot worse, but the offense brings everybody back, and there's no reason to think that they won't be in the mix there towards the end of the year. Washington, you have question marks in terms of they're possibly trading Brian Robinson Jr. He's sitting out of their preseason game tonight. Is Terry McLaurin going to be there? Does Jaden Daniels have a regression year? The Rams feel like the most solid team, but I feel like the NFC is going to have a team where no one takes the Bucs seriously as a Super Bowl threat, even though they're perennial playoff team with Baker Mayfield. Caleb Williams looked damn good last night. I know you mess with about the Bears a lot. But it's hard to pick the Bears because they haven't even been there and they play in a brutal division. It's just there's so many questions in the NFC where I feel like the Eagles are at the top. The Lions and Rams are probably the two best bets that you think to knock them off. And then there's some wild cards in your Bears. I'll throw your Niners in there.
I was going to say, it's almost disrespectful at this point. You're talking about Caleb Williams over the freaking 49ers.
Well, Caleb looked good last night.
And sure, he looked good in a preseason game. What's that worth? Nothing. But it feels like it goes Eagles, Rams, 49ers, Lions, Bucks, the Commanders. There's a whole jambalaya of teams right underneath the Eagles that you have no idea who's going to be better. And it's going to be awesome to watch. I think the NFC is definitely the more fascinating side of football heading into this year. Lots of young talent, lots of teams that have a bunch of question marks around them. And by the way, a lot of really good offensive head coaches.
Question for you, Fletch. I'm curious. Text line, jump in here to 70470. Start your mess with team. What team in the NFC, obviously not the Eagles because they won Super Bowl last year, has the most pressure to go to the Super Bowl next year?
Well, the Niners are on the most time crunch of them all, I would say, because they got so many guys who are going to be expiring literally in their careers. But the Lions have a ton of pressure this year because they've shown that they can and probably should be able to get to that next level. They have the roster. It is a young team, maybe the best running back duo in the entire league. Dan Campbell now has to stand on his own as a head coach. That's where the pressure comes in. Everybody knows they have the roster to get to and potentially go win a Super Bowl this year. But do you have the coaching behind you, or was it just you had two great coordinators? Well, those two coordinators are now gone, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. Does Dan Campbell have the coaching wits, because it takes everything, to be able to get them beyond an NFC championship and potentially to a Super Bowl? That question needs to be answered. The Rams maybe have one more shot at it, if that, with Matthew Stafford. Once he's gone, they need to go into the draft. Well, what have the Rams done? Essentially traded all their draft picks. They're in some trouble, and they don't necessarily have the capital to go up and get a top pick next year for a quarterback. There's a lot of teams with a lot of pressure on them in the NFC. It for sure starts for me with the two teams out of the NFC West and the Detroit Lions. 949
says Lions. Yeah, the Rams and Niners have it because of age. And It's certainly the Rams at the quarterback position now. They have one of the youngest defenses in football, so I think they're going to be relevant.
But the Rams just got a Super Bowl, so that takes some of the pressure off.
Right. And they I think are going to be a solid team. The Niners are obviously there because of the Brock Purdy contract. Is how is he going to play? Is he going to live up to that contract? The Lions do feel like even though they're a young team, you're going to have to pay Hutchinson. You got to pay Amon-Ra. Jamison Williams is coming up.
Amon-Ra got paid, didn't he? A couple years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he might have got paid. But also,
Gibbs is coming up for sure.
One thing we could be talking about next year, if they go one and done, or let's say the Lions go win a playoff game and they lose and they're in the NFC Championship game or whatever, are they talking about a quarterback change? And I like Jared Goff a lot. Jared Goff, I think, was extremely underrated. His story of getting just cast aside by Sean McVay in LA when they traded for Stafford. And you saw that Jared Goff did lead him to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he's 30 and his contract is up in 2 years.
Are you
re-signing Jared Goff for another contract when he's 32?
Right. So there's going to be questions there. Another team that I don't think gets talked about enough, because the Bears and the Commanders have a long runway. The Bears are a fun story this year. I think they're going to be a lot better. I am picking them to make the playoffs. I think that Ben Johnson's going to get that thing turned around. And the Commanders have a long runway. When you have Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels already proven it, and I believe Caleb Williams is going to be that guy at quarterback. Another team that has a lot of pressure that no one's talking about is Green Bay.
Yep.
Green Bay feels like they were kind of that sexy pick. Jordan Love looks really good. They keep drafting all these receivers, but no one's really breaking out. Your Christian Watson hasn't been the guy that everyone thought he was going to be in his first year with them. It feels like they're kind of stagnant, and people have elevated them in the division, maybe because the Vikings got worse in terms of you're assuming J.J. McCarthy is a rookie. The Lions don't have their coordinators anymore. But are they going to be a perennial team? Because on paper, they have one of the youngest. I don't know where you'd rank Jordan Love in the NFC, but he's a very talented quarterback. There's a lot. The NFC is interesting to me because there's a lot of that whole NFC North has a lot of pressure on them. Every team has a ton of pressure on them.
And you feel like Jordan Love himself is going to have a ton of pressure on him because they need to sort of make a decision on if he is the future guy. And it seems like they've already dedicated a bunch of money to him. But is Jordan Love the guy 10 years from now is the question they have to ask themselves. And Matt LaFleur. Like, what has Matt LaFleur actually done to make you say, oh, yeah, that's going to be our head coach for the next 10 years? So far, nothing. We'll see. It's going to be a fun NFL season, man. 2 weeks from right now is going to be a Monday show where we're previewing our first.
Real quick before we go to break, did you see the Cowboys trailer on Netflix?
No, what happened?
You got to watch it during the break. Text us 70470. Start your message with team.
Is this for the new show?
It's a new show. It comes out tomorrow. It comes out tonight. It's the Cowboys documentary of the 90s. It is rarefied form. Jerry Jones is, of course, the first person that's talking.
Is he a producer on it?
They're interviewing them all. They're interviewing Dion, Irv, Eggman, everyone who played on that team, including Jerry Jones, and then Jimmy Johnson is being interviewed for it. It's going to be absolute gold.
How many Netflix series on one team do we need?
We got their team, baby.
They're cheerleaders. Is this the Gambler one? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Gambler.
Okay.
They got Bon Jovi playing in the back. I mean, this is the Cowboys in a nutshell.
All right, we're taking a quick break. I'm going to watch that video. Sammy's going to make his lineup for long shots, which is coming up next. Let's all make some money together. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Well, now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's Teacher of the Day, Gary Kamansky, who teaches at Pacific Beach Elementary School in San Diego, and who people told us that Gary spends time to get to know every student and staff member and makes them feel important. Congratulations to Gary. You are in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Nominate people like Gary, spending the time to make sure. Kendall's first day of school is today out in Lakeside.
Really? Does she get excited for the first day of school, or is it like off the record? Damn.
I would say excited is not the right word. However, she did text me and say first day is going perfectly. She's got a class full of sweethearts. So if you are out in Lakeside Unified and your kid's teacher is Mrs. Fletcher, make sure they know they got a good
How are
one.
this is probably an off-air conversation, but how are the parents?
Parents are great, man. As long as you love your kid, you're awesome in the eyes of every teacher. That's all they care about. If their kid feels like they're loved, then you're a great parent.
I just always wanted to see, because like I would just love to be a fly on the wall in teachers' lounges. Just like because they're like us, you know. They're
Do you want better? You want to be a fly on the wall at a teacher party?
Where the alcohol gets flowing a little bit.
Insane, dude. We were at one on Saturday night. The amount of chirping that just goes back and forth about different people. It could be a smack talk bonanza. Probably an off-air conversation. I think you're right. But I was at a teacher party on Saturday night, and things get wild, man. All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. This week, Sammy Long and I are venturing out east.
Oh, my.
We are hopping on a flight. It's going to take us about an hour and a half to get out to this little place. It's really not big when you look at the grand scheme of things. Vegas just takes up just a little bit of space in an otherwise vast and open desert. But we're going to be touching down at Harry O. Reid International Airport in Las Vegas, immediately running to a slot machine in the airport, winning a bunch of money, going to the Circa Hotel out in Fremont Street, and we're going to have the time of our lives for a couple days. We'll be broadcasting live from the Circa, where we can do a long shots at an actual sports book.
We are going to go place this live at the book beforehand.
We both have an envelope that's stuffed full of cash, lots of cash. Because we're just so rich, me and Sammy.
I am so excited to be in Vegas. I mean, this is just my city. It is made for me. And what's the first game? You're doing a slot first in the airport?
No, not in the airport. I'm not that much of a degenerate. But once we get settled in, I will throw like $20 into a Huff and Puff slot machine and try to win a bunch of money.
Now, I'm just excited for craps. I can't wait. We're hitting the craps table immediately once we get on the ground. Once we get from the airport, I think Circus rolling out all the hot stuff. We got a little limo picking us up. Very excited.
Is that happening?
Yeah. We're gonna will it to happen.
Oh, who told you that there was gonna be a limo?
By the way, this is a total side note. But
I've never once been told we're getting a limo. Do you want to pay for a limo?
This is a total side note. But I just thought limo celebrities. I will be playing with Gina the Latina on Saturday night at a pickleball tournament in San Diego. I am a guest celebrity. I've never played pickleball once in my life.
You're going to be great.
Gina takes it serious.
She takes it super serious.
I know. So Mary, our program director, hyped me up to Gina that I'm like some really good player. And then Gina's like concerned that I'm going to let the team down. So this is going to be, I'm excited for Saturday.
Gina's going to kick your ass if you don't hold up your side of the deal.
I know. I think Gina Latina's going to yell at me during the thing.
All right. It's time for long shots, Sammy. Let's not waste any more time talking about pickleball, talking about Vegas. Let's smash that button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
There's going to be college football on long shots soon.
Friday, we will have an all Iowa State, Kansas State college football parlay.
How fun is that?
Think about that. See, I really want to bet on some NFL preseason right now, but I feel like that could be a little degenerate. But hit me off air, maybe we can get into some of that.
All right, where are we going?
We're going an all pitcher parlay right now. Okay. Paul Skeens playing the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Should be a good game. They're at 340 there. Now, we're going to believe in Paul Skeens. His pitcher strikeouts is only at 6. Now, Toronto has been one of the best teams in the AL. Very solid team. Got a really good 1 through 9. But we're going off a bounce back. He got blasted in Milwaukee. He got lit up. It was one of the worst performances of his entire career. He only had 4 strikeouts. We actually lost on that on long shots. We thought he was going to go over. I believe the number was set at 6.5, 7, something like that. He did not have a good performance, but hey, the Milwaukee Brewers do that to just about anyone. They actually finally lost yesterday to the Reds, but they are currently winning right now against the Chicago Cubs. So I think Paul Skeens bounced back for the Pittsburgh Pirates. More than 6 pitcher strikeouts. He has hit this number in the previous 3 outings besides the Milwaukee game. So more on Paul Skeens, 6 pitcher strikeouts. We're going to go Ranger Suarez for the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm a big fan of him. This guy does not get enough love. He's going to have much more on the rotation now. Zach Wheeler is dealing with a blood clot in his shoulder. We don't know how long he's going to be out for the Phillies. That's a really big deal for them. He's one of the aces of the rotation. They're playing Seattle. Now, we're going to go more than 5.5 strikeouts, and I know people look at this and go, he had 3 against Cincinnati. He had 3 against Baltimore, 5 against Detroit. The last time he hit the over on this was on the 26th of July against the Yankees, but the Mariners played late last night, played in the Mets in that Little League World Series Sunday Night Baseball thing they did. The offense has really been quiet the last 2 nights against the Mets. They only had a few runs combined over both games. Not like how the Mariners are playing over this weekend. Getting into town late this morning. Ranger Suarez, more than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts for the Phillies. And listen, I'm going to believe in the Padres today. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Nestor Cortez.
Giants can't hit. So, yeah, I'd say it's fair.
More than 5 pitcher strikeouts because of the Giants can't hit. I think the Padres are definitely going to be locked in tonight because they got flat out embarrassed over the weekend. And Nestor Cortez has been giving Mike Schill a lot of length in that pen, or not in the pen, but through the starting rotation. And this is a big opportunity for Nestor Cortez because Yu Darvish and Dylan Cease certainly did not make a case to be the outside of Nick Pivetta, the aces of this rotation. Nestor Cortez, I think, is going to have a big night tonight. Little bounce it back, reset game for the Padres, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts. So to recap, Paul Skeens, more than 6 pitcher strikeouts. Ranger Suarez for the Philadelphia Phillies, more than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts. And Nestor Cortez, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts for the hometown Padres.
Take it to the bank, baby. This is a big opportunity for us. We're kicking off Vegas week. We need a win to start things off. Thursday, Friday, by the way, this show will be broadcasting live from the Circa Hotel in Las Vegas. Sammy already has like 5 spa appointments figured out. I don't know. He's addicted to massages, this guy.
That's a crazy thing to say before going to break.
All right, we'll take a break. Hour 2 coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you guys like to win money? I know I do. I mean, it's Vegas week here on the show. We were just talking about it. Super excited to go out there to Circa, hang at the sports book and play Circa Million and Circa Survivor. So you can win up to $21 million in guaranteed prizes in both. The entries open on May 23rd and they close September 6th at 2 p.m. So you got to get out to Vegas. You have to register in person. Now you can make all your picks through a proxy, so you don't have to be there to do all the bets, but you have to register at Circa. So you got to get out there in the next couple weeks. Excuse to go there. Circa Million. Let me tell you about that first. 5 picks against the spread each week over the NFL season. If you're a quantity guy, not a quality guy, you think that you know more than the books through the whole season, this is where you got to go. These are just my picks week 1. I'm already looking. Dallas, maybe if Micah's there, +7 against Philadelphia. Maybe Philadelphia is looking at the banner. Maybe Dallas can cover. It is a division game. I'm looking at my Chiefs favored by 3.5 in Brazil. The numbers moved up from 2.5 to 3.5 after the Rashawn Slater injury. I mean, come on, you know I'm rolling with my boys. Cincy -5.5 against the Browns. Now Cincy has no defense, but can the Browns really and Joe Flacco week 1 keep up with them? Ravens +1.5 feels free to me on the road in Buffalo. All Mark Andrews has to do is catch the football. That's all he's got to do this time. I think he's going to. And the Broncos are favored by the Titans by 8. I like Cam Ward there, a little +8, giving us a touchdown at home on the road. But those are just my picks. You do with what you want. That's Circa Million. Circa Survivor is where you pick one team each week. You don't worry about point spread. You don't worry about the point total. All you got to do is pick one team each week. And once you burn a team, you cannot pick them again. It's $1,000 to enter. So get 10 of your friends and go $100 a pop. And win your money now with Circa. This sports sponsored by Aleve. After the Padres got swept by the Dodgers over the weekend, they'll be hosting the San Francisco Giants, who they swept last week. Padres currently favored by -150 on the money line. That game is going at 6:40. Robbie Ray will be on the mound for the Giants, while Nestor Cortez will be going for the Padres. And Joe Flacco was named the starting quarterback over Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel by Kevin Stefanski and the Browns coaching staff. Life doesn't wait, neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day with just one pill. Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
No fluff, just facts.
So, about that road trip.
This is time to build your cushion. This is time to build your bankroll.
They've taken the first game of this highly anticipated matchup with the Padres.
There is no excuse for them not to win 2 or 3 games this weekend.
They're back by themselves. In first place in the West, shutting out the Padres tonight 6-0. What the hell's going on out here? That's a sweep for LA.
As the season continues, the Dodgers will not continue to be this bad.
What happened? We analyze the weekend, but no rest as the Padres head back to Petco for a series with the Giants. Plus,
The only question the 49ers actually have right now is will they be healthy?
I think there's a few more questions than that. But yes,
Really?
Can Brock Purdy play with a less of a supporting cast?
He doesn't have a less of a supporting cast.
Debo ain't there anymore. I mean, there's like I know you.
Debo wasn't good last year.
The Niners are a fine team. They are not the number one threat to the Eagles. That's asinine.
ChatGPT says they're winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, so AI's taking over. Is that what we're doing now?
My logic is undeniable.
now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, we enter the Fletch Zone.
There we go. It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. This is the Fletch Zone. And you know what? Hour 1 came with a lot of question marks. Like, are we going to continue to be this angry about a 3-game series in Los Angeles? I think my answer is yes until tonight when first pitch happens between the Padres and the Giants, and hopefully they can get back to form. But I'm still going to be a little pissed off about it this hour. I think everyone's okay with that. Second thing that we got questioned in hour number 1, is there a Texas Roadhouse in Las Vegas? Answer, yes. It's about a 15 to 20 minute Uber ride, Sammy, but I think we're going to have to take that Uber ride over to Texas Roadhouse because that's my new favorite restaurant in the world, and I don't think I could be argued off that ledge.
Wait, is it on the Strip?
No.
This is just in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's a ways outside of like
that makes no sense.
Well, it's just it'll be a quick trip. It's all right.
This is not a shot. I like Texas Roadhouse a lot, but we can go to Texas Roadhouse in San Diego. We're not going to spend a bunch of Uber money when we could be at bars, drinking, gambling on the Strip to go out in the middle of nowhere in a desert and go eat some Roadhouse.
Well, you could stay, and I'll go do that.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the craps table. You have fun with it. You bring some back as leftovers.
Reasonably priced, awesome dinner rolls that they just kind of throw at you all night long. I'm going to be going to Texas Roadhouse.
Sounds like someone wants an endorsement.
With my per diem. Not even. I'll pay them. Literally. I love that place. It was so good. Also, we talked a lot of NFL. We'll get back to the NFL here in hour number 2. But I think the most pressing thing is these Padres and what happened over the weekend. Text line's been disappointed. I was disappointed. YouTube chat's disappointed. Sammy was disappointed. And I think that this text actually really comes down to it from the 858. It's a shame that the entire baseball season will likely come down to hopefully missing the Dodgers in the postseason for the Padres.
Yep.
Now, if the Padres go on to win a World Series this year and miss the Dodgers in the playoffs, I won't care. I will be happy that the Padres won a World Series.
Well, of course.
But it would feel a little less than if you miss the Dodgers. Like, it feels like that's a necessary step to go for these Padres to make it mean something.
I think it's not even just about the Dodgers. It's about the fact that when they've stepped up in competition, like the Dodgers might not be the best team in the NL. That's the Brewers right now.
Either of those two teams that played this weekend, because it's not like the Dodgers played great. The Padres just played awful.
Right.
Either of those two teams play against the Brewers right now, they're getting their asses kicked.
The Brewers... Like the Padres are going to have to beat elite level competition. The Phillies took a hit with the Zach Wheeler injury, but they're still there. The Phillies are still going to be a tough out. They have a closer. They have the bats to where Schwarber is playing at an unreal level. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, all those guys. I mean, the Mets got kind of hot over the weekend. They were dreadful. And the Mets are a team that, I mean, yeah, they had been awful before this weekend where they took 2 or 3 from the Mariners, but that's a team that is a solid team. The Cubs, everyone's forgotten about. The Cubs are still a solid team. I know they don't necessarily have the bullpen that you would want.
They're getting their asses kicked by the Brewers literally as we speak.
Right. And then the Dodgers. So it's like you're going to have to beat an elite level competition. And what we've seen over the weekend, why it's disappointing and why I don't want to hear it's just another series in August is what have the Padres shown you to say that if they do match up against the Dodgers in the playoffs, why you would pick them to win? Schaefer said this on the wrap-up show last night, which I thought was fantastic. He said to beat the team that is a mental hurdle over you, you have to not just play well, you have to play great. You have to play exceptional. And that's how the Padres played in 2022. They were playing at an elite level and really took it to the Dodgers when they haven't won a series against them since last May. Ever since that they went up 2-1 and we were sitting on air here and when they were in San Diego with a shot to close them out last year in the NLDS, the Dodgers have had their number. They've punked them every time they've played them. So to think that they're going to go to the playoffs and just magically flip a switch when the Dodgers are going to get much healthier, just it's unfair right now to think that.
And with self-inflicted wounds like Jackson Merrill dropping a ball in the outfield, like Manny Machado literally looking hapless at the plate this weekend. I don't know what was wrong with Manny, but it seemed like someone was in his head for sure. And Fernando Tatis Jr. and Xander Bogaerts. When's the last time Fernando hit a home run? Was it July?
It was. Russell's got the stat. I'll get it. It's some crazy stat.
Over a month, it feels like, since Fernando Tatis Jr. has hit a home run. This isn't the team that's going to do it, man.
Manny Machado has 1 RBI in the month of August.
And he's awful with runners in scoring position and has had so many opportunities against the Dodgers. It felt like 4 or 5 times he had plate appearances that could have completely changed the narrative of the entire series, and it didn't happen. You got the Fernando
Tatis Jr. has hit 4 home runs since May 28th. It's August 17th.
Ugh.
For a guy who we were seriously talking about in the NL MVP conversation,
the first 20 games of the season, he was it.
He's unbelievable. And I mean, the Machado stuff wears me out. We can get to the big 3. I might throw it in there.
Nah, we'll save the big 3 for the other side.
Okay.
Let's keep bitching and moaning. Okay. Manny Machado dissing the press. Come on.
That's where I'm going.
If you missed it in Kevin Acey's newsletter, Manny Machado was on his way out of the locker room by the time the press got invited in after yesterday's game.
And he said he didn't want to talk to anyone. That is pathetic. You are one of the stars of the team. You get paid millions and millions of dollars to sit there and answer questions. I'm sorry that the press is going to ask you why you didn't perform well. You specifically didn't perform well. Ramon Laureano looks like the absolute star of this team. He's the only guy that was consistently at the plate this weekend that if you were a Dodger fan, you were probably worried about, because Machado looked listless. He struck out. He couldn't get over the fact that the pitch from Trinan was too inside, and he thought it should have been a ball, which it probably should have been, but he can't recoup. It was still a 3-1 count. He strikes out of it. And then the Dodger fans do not like Manny Machado. He gets booed every time he comes up to plate, and Manny talks a lot of crap, which a lot of people in San Diego like. He kind of revs up the team. He said last year or 2 years ago, we're not scared of the Dodgers. And
it was this offseason.
It was this offseason.
It was this spring break.
It was revving up.
Worked out so far.
Right. The narrative. And then you don't want to talk to the media? Like, I'm sorry. That's weak.
Here's
dude.
the little bit from Kevin Acey's article, and you tell us how you feel about it. Manny Machado was walking out of the clubhouse as reporters entered after the game yesterday, and he said he would not talk until today. Now, that's what Kevin Acey wrote this morning. But Mike Shildt was asked about Manny Machado yesterday. Mike Shildt says the confidence in this team is high for a lot of reasons, and a big part of that reason is Manny Machado. We can blink, and I'm pretty confident within a week or so we'll be talking and be like, man, Manny has 8 RBIs in the last 5 days, so we're not concerned about Manny Machado.
I get it. Mike Shildt has to.
That's Mike's job, is to protect his guys.
I get it, so I'm not going to blame Mike Shildt, but I don't want to hear that.
And he's probably right. Like, Manny Machado does do this, where he goes ice cold for a little bit, and then all of a sudden he's the best hitter in baseball for 20 days at a time.
Yes, but it's one thing to do it in a random week in June.
And he's probably going to have a great series against the Giants. Who cares?
Right, the Giants
against
can't
the Dodgers.
Hit. It's the Giants are not who you're seeing in the playoffs. The Giants are not going to be there. So it's great to beat the Giants. Hopefully they sweep the Giants, and we're sitting here talking about how it sets up a good series against the Dodgers. But in the series where you went in 1 game up and had the opportunity to really, I mean, the Dodgers would have been reeling. If you would have taken 2 or 3, let's just say the Dodgers get 1 because it's in LA. If you had taken 2 or 3, you'd have a multi-game lead on the division. You would have had the opportunity to sweep in San Diego for the tiebreaker over the division. That's gone. And specifically, Manny Machado was awful. And in yesterday's game,
Dylan Cease is catching no flack today. He probably should be. He was terrible.
He was terrible too. I mean, well, that's the thing that I think has been lost in the fact that the bullpen's so good. And the bullpen is so good. Listen, the bullpen wasn't great over the weekend. Obviously, Suarez gave up the home run. Estrada had a tough weekend. But we know overall the Padres bullpen is the strength of this team. But the theory with that is you have to get a lead to do that. In the starting pitching between Yu Darvish, who was awful in the first inning. Now, he did rebound a little bit. I'll give him some credit. He did pitch well after that, but the damage was already done. And Dylan Cease, Dodger hitters were standing there, not swinging. Why would you? Why would you swing when he can't hit a strike zone?
It's all bad, man. There's not a whole lot of good that came out of this past weekend. The hope is that it gets better. Now, you got a few games here against the Giants that you should be able to get. Make sure this offense doesn't stay lapsing like it was. This is a nice opportunity for Manny and Fernando and Xander to get right against a team who literally does not have an offense. It's not going to take much to beat the Giants, but it's going to take something. And we'll see if the Padres can do it, because you got the Dodgers coming up in 4 more days. All right, quick break here. We didn't do the big 3. We'll do it coming up next, where we run through the top stories in the world of sports. That is next at San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Download the Prize Picks app today. You want to do it now before the college football season starts, which, by the way, is this weekend. Download the Prize Picks app, use promo code Fletch, and you're going to get a $50 bonus after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is the best. The lineups are just picking more than or less than on player stat projections. For example, the lineup that Sammy and I have going today is all baseball lineup. And by the way, Prize Picks is the official daily fantasy sports platform for the San Diego Padres. But we got Paul Skeens going at more than 6 pitcher strikeouts. Ranger Suarez, more than 5.5 pitcher strikeouts. And Nestor Cortez for the Padres, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts. It's that easy. You just craft a lineup of 2 to 6 players. You pick their stat projections, more than or less than, and you can win up to 2,000 times your cash on Prize Picks. And football season is almost here. Prize Picks and football, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. Let's be honest. Prize Picks is the shake to football's bake. Download it today because Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are ready for the season. But are you ready for the season? Prize Picks is my daily fantasy sports app because of the promotions. Taco Tuesdays, Flex Fridays will keep you coming back for more all season long. Plus, Prize Picks invented the Flex Play. So say you have a 3-person lineup going, only 2 of your players are correct. You are still going to double your money with Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Wednesday, 6 o'clock, right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's SDFC Midweek Live here from the head coach, Mikey Vadas, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information, SDFC Midweek Live, Wednesday, 6 o'clock, right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. All right, we foregone, however you say it, the big 3 in the last segment because we were busy complaining about the Padres, which felt right on a Monday. This was a day where
they deserve it.
They deserved it. We needed to get some stuff on our chest. What we saw over the weekend was not okay from the San Diego Padres. Luckily, this wasn't a postseason series because did that not feel eerily similar to the last 3 games of the NLDS a year ago, where the Padres offense just shuts down? They're making uncharacteristic mistakes.
It had opportunities mainly on Friday and Sunday to capitalize, especially Friday with bases loaded, top of the lineup up. You couldn't have drew it up better.
Like the guy today who say, well, they got more hits than the Dodgers over the series.
That's ridiculous.
Who cares?
First off, that's even worse, the fact that you got more hits.
Thank you.
And you lost to them. So I see this online, this narrative of, they out-hit, they outplayed them, we're going to be fine. They may be fine, but I don't want to hear about how, they out-hit them. You don't play games to out-hit the opponent. You play them to score more runs than them. It's a pathetic argument.
And some fundamentally bad baseball. I mean, we can point to the Jackson Merrill play in the outfield, and that one was an obvious one. Like, how does a potential Gold Glove winning center fielder, how? Doesn't make sense. But the base running errors were also just mystifying. Like, what the hell is going on with this team? Whatever. We're past it. We're moving on. Next time we talk about the Padres on this show, Sammy, we're previewing Padres Giants. We are leaving that Dodgers series in the rearview mirror. But right now it's time for the big three. So Sammy Long, if you will, please do take us through the world of sports like you do every single day and smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
We got a text that's going to kick off our next segment about the NFL heading into this year. That is so wrong. Can't wait to get into it.
Is this the one I'm thinking of?
The one about the playoffs in the NFL? Just came in.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get to it.
I got to see it.
In about 10 minutes.
We're going to get to it.
But right now it's time for the big three. Sammy, where are we going?
Bengals Commanders. We actually have a Monday night preseason game, so something to watch before you flip over to that Padre game tonight. But the Bengals, let's stick with them. Trey Hendrickson officially on the trade block. They're listening to offers for him. The contract situation they haven't been able to figure out all offseason for the NFL sack leader. Per report, though, the return for the Bengals, if they are to deal him right now, is going to be less because they waited until after the draft.
Duh.
Do you think he gets dealt? Do you think it's smart for the Bengals to deal him? What would you do?
I hope he gets dealt. Trey Hendrickson, much like Joe Burrow, deserves to be somewhere with a chance. And the Bengals are just in this awful habit of not giving their team a chance when you have one of the best, if not the best offense in football. I actually think that's true about the Bengals. They might have the best offense in football, and you are not giving this team a chance to win. I hope you do trade Trey Hendrickson, and I hope in 2 years you trade Joe Burrow. Get them off this team, this bloodsuck of an organization, and get them somewhere where we all have a chance to watch them play on Super Bowl Sunday. Trey Hendrickson, man, this stinks for him. And of course, Bengals, the trade value is not going to be as high because he deserves to make a boatload of money that you're not willing to pay him. So teams are going to come to you offering less money.
It's the Bengals have once again, just like the Cowboys in the Micah Parsons situation, completely mishandled it. Trey Hendrickson, you could have extended him a year or two ago and got him at a little bit of a cost. This guy does ball out every year. He, as a Chiefs fan, he's the Patrick Mahomes killer. I mean, this guy, every time he plays the Chiefs, literally has 3 sacks every time. Hendrickson's a phenomenal player for a team that literally couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. You're getting rid of your best pass rusher. Like, if you were going to do it before the draft, I got it in the sense of
it would make sense. The team wasn't good defensively with Trey Hendrickson. Imagine how much worse it's going to be without him. You might as well stack up some draft picks.
Exactly. And it'd be one thing if you had been like, we're going to trade T. Higgins last year and try to rebuild this team, retool around Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, retool, get draft picks. Well, you paid T. Higgins, you paid Jamar Chase, you paid Joe Burrow. So the offense is reared up, ready to go. The offense is you're paying them like, hey, we're going to go try to win a Super Bowl this year and make some noise in the playoffs. But the defense is an absolute abomination. Their big fix to that was getting Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, who had 4.5 sacks in his career, but really rose at the combine. He had a contract holdout that he ended. Just the Bengals are a horrible organization. And you keep saying it, Fletch. Listen, I know he signed, but a couple years from now, if they don't fix that defense, does Joe Burrow come knocking somewhere else?
Like, give me Joe Burrow to the Seahawks. Give me Joe Burrow.
Yeah, competent organization.
Someone who's not afraid to spend money and like build a team from the ground up. Give me Joe Burrow somewhere he can actually compete for a Super Bowl.
And also, what does it say real quickly to any young defender, to Shamar Stewart, who you just drafted in the first round, that the guy who led the league in sacks at age 30 can't get a contract? So what am I going to do? Why are you going to pay me if you're not going to pay him?
I think that's a big part of the reason Shamar Stewart wasn't a part of the beginning of training camp this year. He was looking towards his future and understanding he's a part of an incompetent organization. I feel bad for Bengals fans. I do. You guys hit the lottery with Joe Burrow and the wide 100%. Receivers that you have. And they've actually drafted the offensive side of the ball very, very well. Why can you not figure out a defense?
Crazy. Let's head to Miami. Mike McDaniel, heavily criticized last week. The Dolphins been in a lot of disarray. Tyreek and Tua seem to be going back and forth on comments. Apparently, they were in a practice with the Lions before the preseason game last week, and they got shredded per all reports in practice. last Friday, Mike McDaniel came out and said that they actually had to suspend 5 players internally last year that didn't make it to the media. Is Mike McDaniel under the most pressure of any coach in the NFL heading into next season?
I don't think so. No, because I don't think there's all that much pressure on the Dolphins right now to win a Super Bowl or even get to the postseason. Like there should be, but think about what you have in the AFC. We were just talking about it. Like we were just thrashing the Bengals a little bit. I see the Bengals as a postseason team. The Steelers, I see as a postseason team. Obviously, the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens are a postseason team. Right now, the Dolphins have bigger issues than Mike McDaniels. To where who knows what's going to be happening in a year from now with Tua. Is he even going to be playing football? There's already people calling for his retirement every turn of the corner. Mike McDaniels is a solid head coach, dude. He is a very, very bright offensive mind. These don't grow on trees. If Mike McDaniels got fired tomorrow, he would have a job the next day. So I would not look at the head coach in that situation having a ton of pressure. I look at Tua having an immense amount of pressure. I look at the general manager having an immense amount of pressure. Mike McDaniels, I don't think so.
I think he could be on the hot seat, but I agree with you. I think Mike McDaniel's a fantastic coach. He's a great offensive mind. I really feel like it plays in the fact that he's like, I like Mike McDaniel. Didn't he go to Yale? He doesn't.
He's a nerd, dude.
Yeah, he's a nerd. He doesn't look like a football coach, and I think that's actually can be good at times. He brings a new mindset. He's had to deal with Tua's injuries. He's had to deal with a lot of guys aging on the defense.
Just Tyreek Hill.
Which
is his own little bubble that's floating out there apart from every other NFL player.
The Dolphins used to be completely irrelevant. He made them relevant again. I think Mike McDaniel would get snatched up immediately. I would like to see him, if this season doesn't go the way it wants to, with a new quarterback and give him a shot. I don't know that they're going to give him that ability, but that would be.
By the way, Devon A-Chain hurt this morning.
Yeah, and
calf injury, fantasy football.
They think he's going to be back for week 1. But quickly, last story in the NFL. So Joe Flacco named week 1 starter. Kevin Stefanski said yesterday there's been reports that they're going to keep 4 quarterbacks, which is very abnormal. You'd only keep 2, maybe 3 if you had an injury-prone quarterback.
Well, in the NFL, you get that emergency third-string quarterback right now that doesn't even take up a roster spot.
So you'd only take 2. There's been reports about this. Stefanski seemed to pour cold water on it. What would you think if they kept 4 quarterbacks, and who should make the team if they don't pick 4 quarterbacks?
They better trade one of these guys. You're looking at Dylan Gabriel's the one you cut. Obviously, if you're getting into a situation where you're going to cut somebody.
Really?
I think so.
Over Pickett?
I think. I might have said that backwards. Sorry. Dylan Gabriel's the one you're going to trade. Kenny Pickett's the one you're going to cut. But look, at this point, what the hell are you doing with 4 still on your roster? This needed to be decided 2 weeks ago. The fact that the Browns are still in this situation, and I think they actually made a smart move by naming Joe Flacco the starting quarterback for week 1. I think both Shador and Gabriel obviously have not shown that they've separated in any sense of the word. Even if they were close to Joe Flacco, one of them would be getting the nod. But at this point, somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to get traded. I feel like you should probably only be going into the season with 2 quarterbacks on the roster, 1 emergency quarterback, and maybe that emergency guy is Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel. But I would trade Gabriel now.
I think you got to trade him. I'm just curious what you took Gabriel over Shador. So your scouting department, whether it be just because of the whole Deion situation or how he acted in meetings, it told you that Dylan Gabriel, you drafted him higher than Shador Sanders and you could have had him. So you're going to trade Dylan Gabriel. Has Shador shown you enough to where you think that you're going to trade Gabriel? Do you not want to deal with the whole Shador Sanders piece? Do you trade him? But then how much is he going to go for? The entire NFL told you that they thought he was a 5th round pick. They kind of blackballed him from getting drafted, and a lot of people had a 1st round grade on him. Has that changed over the preseason? It's going to be interesting to see if they deal someone. Apparently, people have been calling about Gabriel and Shador. I feel like Kenny Pickett would certainly be the odd man out. I don't know if you're going to keep a young quarterback, keep Pickett or keep Gabriel and Shador. But yeah, we'll see if the Browns screw this up. They certainly have a history of doing that, but if you could get a pick for one of these guys, if you really don't believe that they're going to be the next starting quarterback at the Cleveland Browns, get something for them while you still can.
By the way, the Commanders have a trade rumor going on right now with Brian Robinson Jr.
Makes no sense to me.
Who was fantastic last year. Why are you trade Austin Eckler? He's old, but Brian Robinson Jr. apparently.
So Terry McLaurin and Brian Robinson Jr. might not be there for the Commanders. Like, what are we doing here?
Way to support your young quarterback. All right, quick break here. We can go back to a little bit of Padres previewing their series with the Giants. There's also a text that I want to get to here. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by eBay. Padres, after getting swept by the Dodgers over the weekend, will be taking on the Giants tonight, live from Petco. That Robbie Ray will be taking the mound for the Giants, while Nestor Cortez will be going for the Pods. That game gets going at 6:40. Padres currently minus 150 on the money line, and Brian Robinson Jr. is sitting out the game against the Bengals tonight, preseason game for the Commanders, because they're looking to trade him. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Bill Barnwell, I think, is kind of required reading for NFL fans, especially this point in the year. He does these deep, in-depth, stat-driven articles. And look, we've talked to Bill a couple times on this show. Bill's a nerd, and he's a self-identifying nerd. But it does a really good job of kind of setting up expectations for an NFL season. And he has an article out now about something Sammy and I have talked about a lot, which is what team is most likely to go worst to first in the NFL. So in a couple minutes, we're going to take a look at that and kind of break down what Bill wrote about ahead of this NFL season. But we got some text here, 949 saying the most pressure of any NFC team is on the Lions. 858. This is coming off a conversation we had in hour number 1, where we talked about how I feel that the NFC is going to be more entertaining this year because of all the question marks surrounding it. 858 says the more interesting conference would be the one with the best 4 quarterbacks in football. Now, obviously, the AFC has Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, who any list will start with those 4 as the best quarterbacks currently in football. However, I disagree with this text. I find that those are the 4 best quarterbacks in football, but I find the NFC more interesting this year because we already know the playoff teams in the AFC for the most part, depending on whether or not the Bengals or the Steelers has a better season. The NFC is so much more wide open.
The NFC, kind of. The NFC is more wide open in terms of if you think Philly is falling back. I think Philly is going to be a really solid team. I think they're going to be I think they're going to win the division, but I don't think they're quite the team they were last year in terms of that team. I mean, obviously they waxed my Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So
what was the final score of that game?
Again, we don't shy away from it. 40-22 wasn't our finest moment, but
22 of those points were garbage time too.
We'll see them boys in week 2 at Arrowhead. But like the it is wide open, and there's a lot of questions about, because the NFC is weird with quarterbacks. Like you have Jalen Hurts, who deserves a lot more respect than he gets, and then you have a lot of guys who you think can pop. Jaden Daniels showed that he has the top 5 potential last year. Caleb Williams, a lot of people are expecting a jump. He had a really nice preseason game yesterday, even though that is just a preseason game. And then you have the old vets. Is Stafford healthy? You have not the Cardinals are going to win a Super Bowl, but like you have Kyler Murray. Like where does Kyler Murray stack in the NFC in terms of quarterbacks? Your boy Brock Purdy, is he going to live up to his contract like Fletch and Jim Russell want to tell us every day on air? I mean, there's a lot of questions. Is Jordan Love going to take a next step? Whereas the AFC is, the top 4 quarterbacks. And then what after, like there's a debate after that. I think you could go. So if you have Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, who's the next AFC best quarterback? Is it Justin Herbert? Is it Trevor Lawrence? Is it Bo Nix? Like who are you going there? I think there's
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud's one that could be there. Like,
yeah, you're right. I just like, if you look at the NFC, we have no idea. After maybe the 1 or 2 seed, we feel pretty confident that it's going to be Lions and Eagles in some form or fashion. After that, what the hell is the postseason picture looking like? Whereas the AFC, you essentially know who the top 6 are.
The NFC is more roster driven, and the AFC is more there are multiple teams with a quarterback that that even if you have a worse roster, you have a chance to go win a Super Bowl or go win a big game. That's why the NFC is very curious to me. But the AFC is like, I mean, even take those teams. Take the Bengals. They don't have a defense, so no one really expects them to beat the Ravens in the AFC. And then the Steelers are kind of a wild card in terms of they might have like the best roster in the AFC, but is Rodgers going to be that guy to take them over the top? Like there's a lot of questions in the AFC. And I think in terms of certainly the playoffs, the question is still there is, Josh Allen gets kind of put on a pedestal. Lamar Jackson gets put on a pedestal. Joe Burrow does, but is anyone really going to topple Patrick Mahomes? That's really the storyline that's interesting heading into the postseason.
Well, it's going to be fun. We know that football season getting going 2 weeks from now. We will be having a Monday within the football season. But Bill Barnwell has an article out about the teams who are going to have an opportunity to go from worst to first in the NFL. So let's set this real quick because the Patriots came in last in the AFC East. Raiders AFC West, Browns AFC North, Titans AFC South, and then over in the NFC, the Giants, Niners, Bears, and Saints were all the last place teams heading into this football season. Actually, the 49ers, thanks to that last place finish a year ago, have not only the easiest schedule in the NFC West, not only the easiest schedule in the NFC, but the entire NFL. The 49ers have the easiest schedule in the league, which would lead me to believe, as well as Bill Barnwell, if you read his article, that the 49ers have the best opportunity to jump from worst to first heading into 2025, 2026. Sammy hates that so much. He's like, the Bears, Caleb Williams is going to do it.
I've been front with you. I love when the Niners get in the playoffs because, But the Niners certainly and seriously do have a shot. I wouldn't pick them to win the division, but if you were looking at a team that came in worse last year, because
it ain't going to be the Raiders, we don't think, or unless the Raiders have some sort of unreal year with Pete Carroll.
No, I mean, because the Niners do have the ability. Their season got derailed last year because of injury. Now, I think the
Trent
team,
Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk all missing the majority of the season, and then you add on top of that the worst special teams in football, you're going to have a bad year.
Chicago is interesting because if you're looking at worst to first teams, they have the ability to get a lot. Like they on paper should be much better. They're playing a fourth place schedule, but then the division's so tough that if you're picking the Bears to win the division, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the division yet. We'll be doing division picks here in a week or two. But that's based on the Lions losing both coordinators, Sam Darnold not quarterbacking the Vikings anymore. That's kind of more based on the rest of the division and them getting better. The rest of those teams, you have the Raiders. I mean, the Titans finished last. The Saints, I think, are going to have the number one pick next year. The Browns have no shot in that division. But we always see a team do it.
I think the Giants are one of note that we could probably question a little bit. Look, they're in a tough division. There's no doubt about that. But this is going to be a better team than they were a year ago. Last year, they were 3-14. Now, I remember watching some of the Giants games and being like, this team's not that bad.
Have you seen their pass rush?
They're actually pretty filthy. Dude, Abdul Carter was the best pick in the draft. Jackson Dart looked pretty good again this weekend. If they end up going with him, who knows?
How long is Russ the starter?
Dude, Russ actually looked pretty nice this weekend, too.
He had the one pass.
A big bomb all the way down the field. I can't remember who caught that, but like you look at the Giants and you're like, this roster's not bad, man. Can they get anything out of the quarterback position?
And then if you're talking about the Giants, kind of like the Bears, we think maybe the NFC North is coming a little bit back to the pack. The Cowboys, we have no idea. Now, they're going to be healthier. They were obviously ripped apart by injuries last year with Trayvon Diggs and Dak Prescott. But is Micah Parsons going to be there? Even if he is there, is that team all that great? It's kind of star-oriented. If Washington doesn't have Terry McLaurin or Brian Robinson Jr., and you're just counting on everything, they won the most close. They had a lot of close wins last year. I think Jane Daniels is the truth. And then the Eagles got worse on defense. Now, I think it is still the Eagles division. Obviously, they're Super Bowl champs. So it's kind of hard to be like they're going to get upset by the Giants. But the Dart, like that team's interesting. Tyrone Tracy Jr., they got Scatterbo at Arizona State, Malik Neighbors. Like there's a lot of talent on that team that we always see one every year. There's going to be one that goes worse to first that we're not even talking about. Hey, number one pick, Cam Ward, Tennessee. That division's not great.
Titans are awful. Titans team around Cam Ward is the problem.
Did you see him get a fight with Jeffrey Simmons at practice today?
I like Cam Ward. I do. But the team around him is absolutely terrible. The Titans are an afterthought this year. I think the Saints are an afterthought this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars are another interesting one, right? Could they potentially do it? Will Trevor Lawrence already finally be realized as who he's supposed to be? I think
they are winning that division.
You do?
Yeah.
Like 100%?
Yeah.
Like you're putting money on that this week in Vegas?
Like when we get to Vegas, I'm placing money on their over on win total.
Over on win total, absolutely. Like I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. We just have yet to see him be a good quarterback. I would love to see it. I would. I think it's good for the game if Trevor Lawrence is good.
We've seen it, though, him and Herbert. We just have not seen them take the trajectory that we thought that, like, guys like...
What the Jags end up at last year? I know Lawrence was hurt for a little bit, but were they like a 3-win team?
They were terrible. But to be fair to Trevor Lawrence, I mean, I really enjoy Justin Herbert.
Sunshine.
I think Justin Herbert's, going to take a massive step. Not Harbaugh's there, and he has some weapons. He has done more in the playoffs than Justin Herbert has, and we give Justin Herbert a lot of props.
One game
against Justin Herbert.
Right. And that was, but again, I'm not going to put all of that on Justin Herbert either. Like the defense, was it 35 points?
What was the 27 point lead?
That is crazy. Like that's not all on Herbert. But all right, we'll take a quick break. We'll finish this thing up coming up next. Give our thoughts on the Padres' upcoming few games with the San Francisco Giants. Padres backed themselves into a quarter, man. It's time to come out swinging. Time to get some of that swagger back. Let's see how they can do it. Coming up next, it's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 for our final time here today. It is Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long. And Sammy, I think we might have just created a little conspiracy theory. And I'm going to throw it out there.
Throw it out there.
So Ben Stiller has been directing a lot of the TV show Severance. Have you watched that show?
Yeah.
Awesome show.
We talked about it every week on the show.
Great show. Ben Stiller has said now publicly he will not be directing any of season 3 of Severance, even though he's the show's creator. Instead, he's working on his next movie project.
That's concerning, by the way, that he's not doing Severance.
I know. I'm a little worried about that. I think he's still the EP showrunner guy, but he's not directing them because that's just a time suck. But he's directing his next movie, which is going to be about a downed pilot in World War II behind enemy lines. Conspiracy theory, he's making a new installment of Tropic Thunder.
That is what the world needs.
I think so too.
I was trying to record some drops in the 2 minutes I heard this, and then every drop I was trying to get from the movie could not go out over the radio.
Look, I obviously you can't do it the exact same way. Robert Downey Jr.'s character is going to need to be tweaked a little bit, but
he's Australian now, remember?
Yeah, you could go with the same premise. So you just go, because I think it was about the Vietnam War. I could be wrong. It's been a while.
Well, no, they're shooting a movie.
Yeah, you're shooting a documentary.
And then they get dropped in the woods.
Exactly. I'm in on it. Ben, if you need a guy, I can be your showrunner.
Tropic Thunder has to be a top 5 comedy film of all time.
It's up there for me. Just the fact the cast on that movie is out of this world insane. Like you forget that Jack Black was in that movie.
Yeah, and Danny McBride's in the movie.
And you got freaking Matthew McConaughey as the agent. Tom Cruise is playing the.
He's like, bud, I got the TiVo in your contract.
It's just the perfect movie. You never know what is actually happening in that movie, but maybe he's doing a World War II.
Remember when the little kids stabbing him at the end?
Yes, dude. I've seen Tropic Thunder 9 million times. It's one of my favorites. But maybe that's what Ben Stiller's doing instead. Or he's making like a real gritty, dramatic World War II
I think a Tropic Thunder 2 needs to be, and I think people should have to sign like a NDA going into the movie. Like you can't complain about it after.
Yeah, if you
can't be offended
to go see Tropic Thunder 2, you just have to be okay with it being Tropic Thunder 2.
I worked real quick. I worked at a movie theater, and it's amazing to me how many people when I was in high school would go to a movie and have never seen the trailer of the movie. Like usually you go, okay, like I watched a little bit of the trailer. This looks good. I want to go see this. People would not go see it. I remember that movie. Remember that movie Good Boys came out?
Oh yeah, the Seth Rogen directed it.
Yeah, so it looks like a coming of age film, and it's like a hard R-rated comedy. And we had so many people that wanted their money back. These like older women who would go in there and watch it, and they're like, "This is just so much smut and innuendo." I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's why it says R-rated on the outside."
Honestly, kind of a solid flick. Like I really like Good Boys. The scene where they're trying to get across the highway, I thought was hysterical. It's like super bad, but you'd age them down 7 years. It's just middle schoolers.
Fantastic.
I thought it was great. All right, Padres got the Giants. Sammy, you want to set the pitching matchup tonight? Nestor Cortez for the Pods. Who's going for the Giants?
Robbie Ray, who has been very solid for the Giants.
Oh, but he struggled against the Padres last week.
But this is going back to what we talked about last week, literally a week ago today. We were talking about, is there going to be a trap series for the Padres? Is it going
Turns
to be?
Out it was the Dodgers.
Yeah, in the Dodgers had the trap series. They got swept by the Angels, and the Padres absolutely dominated the Giants. Now you got to expect tonight, the Giants are going to have some pride. Now the Giants can't hit the baseball. I expect the Padres to take this series. They better take the series. So there's massive problems if they lose the series. But they got flat out embarrassed. This still is a division opponent. You're coming off a pathetic weekend against the Dodgers. You got the Dodgers again at Petco this weekend. Like, how are you going to respond? Because if they roll up here thinking that they're just going to destroy the Giants again, the Giants could pick one or two off, and we could be sitting here on Thursday going, what the hell has happened over the last week? They need to come out focused tonight.
Here's the problem for the Padres. The Dodgers were playing as bad as they've ever played over the last handful of years heading into that series this weekend. And it feels like, and maybe it was the crap talking from the San Diego fan base. Maybe it was just the way the Padres walked into Dodger Stadium over the weekend, but you awoke something in the Dodgers. Like Mookie Betts all of a sudden is playing good ball again. Freddie Freeman's playing good ball. The pitching staff I thought was really nice for the Dodgers over the weekend. So you awoke something in your biggest rival in the National League. They are probably going to be going on a tear here. They're going to start separating, or at least that's what they're going to try to do. And the Padres are quite literally the only team that can stop that. They got to take care of business against the Giants. Then they need to take care of business against the Dodgers this upcoming weekend. The Padres had their opportunity to go double down in Vegas, if that's how we're talking. They missed that opportunity. Now it's time to fight to try to get back some of your losses. And that's not a position anyone wants to be in. I promise you that's not a position Sammy and I will be in coming up this week when we're going to Vegas. How about that? Thursday, Friday shows are going to sound a little bit different here on the Fletch Zone. Sammy's going to be hungover, probably asleep in a pool somewhere. I'll be there doing the Lord's work, But
I'll be there. First off, we're going to... Yeah, so what is your morning going to look like? You're still doing Big Rich, City and Fletch or no?
Get a couple workouts in, maybe drink a probiotic smoothie.
Hit some quick little arm pumps.
Make sure we're really treating the body like the temple that it is, Sammy. No, I'm going to eat something greasy somewhere probably.
Dude, I'm just curious. I'm really curious your bedtime because you sent a text out to your boys and me and said, I think Wednesday we're going to take it light.
Sammy, first nightitis is a real problem, especially in my friend group. I'm trying to set those expectations a little lower for the first night.
What is first nightitis? What is that?
First nightitis is anytime you get together with friends you haven't seen in a long time and you go way too hard on the first night, making day two just miserable.
Yeah, but we're only there 2 days. It's not that big of a problem.
But if we're going to go big one night, I'm telling you, I get really affected by hangovers now. It's not something I'm proud of, but it happens where I'm shut down.
You don't drink enough water. That's what we're gonna get you on some water.
That's why I'm talking about the probiotic shake.
You know those things in Vegas with the nasal oxygen things.
Yeah, the little oxygen bar.
Get you just right.
Might mess with one of those. All right, we're out for today. John and Jim are coming up next. Sammy and I are in Vegas Thursday and Friday. Can't wait for it. I hope to see you there as well. John and Jim next. San Diego Sports 760.